Today, I'm breaking down the $10 million Bitcoin blind spot that nobody talks about.
I believe that Bitcoiners can start to get very short-sighted once they understand Bitcoin and how it can change our financial system.
And this blind spot could put everything you've worked for at serious risk.
Like selling when it goes down is not, it's not even a thing, right? So it's just a very different mindset, but it only comes from the confidence and self-security to do your own research.
I know it sounds dramatic and a little inflammatory, but one of the biggest Bitcoin wealth advisors in the world, managing millions in assets, is warning this exact scenario is already unfolding. Stay tuned, because if his prediction comes true, generational Bitcoin wealth could collapse into a one-generation liquidation. And here's the kicker. This isn't about price action, ETFs, or adoption curves. It's about the blind spot that could quietly unravel everything that Bitcoiners have been building for the last 15 years. I'm Oceans. This is Beyond Bitcoin. You better stay to the end of this one.
It can get really complex because now I have maybe 3 different hardware wallets if it's a 2 of 3 setup, and I have to make sure that, they're in different places. I also have to make sure I'm backing up every single one of those private keys. And so do I spread out those backups as well? It becomes a very involved process. And most people will just end up holding all 3 keys in the same place, maybe in the safe at their house. And it's like, well, is multi-sig really doing the job that you wanted it to do by storing it this way?
Meet Mitch Moore, one of only 8 Bitcoin-focused wealth advisors in the entire U.S. His clients aren't retail investors, they're early Bitcoiners sitting on $5 million to $50 million stacks. But here's the problem. Almost all of them are planning their estates as if Bitcoin is just another stock. He explains the classic intake scenario going something like this. The husband has something like $15 million of a position in Bitcoin. The wife calls it risky internet money. The kids don't know a private key from a house key.
What's that?
And the estate plan? A simple will leaving everything to the spouse.
Yeah, what we built and why HODLing is not a financial plan is a primary mantra of ours, is because I believe that Bitcoiners can start to get very short-sighted once they understand Bitcoin and how it can change our financial system in the future that they hope to see. And so then they believe that their financial plan is now, I just buy Bitcoin and hold on. And for some, that might be the case. But for many, there's a lot of blind spots that you can introduce, when you are stopping there. You need to take it a step further to think through, okay, what should my estate plan be? If something happens to me today, I get hit by a bus, after listening to this podcast, can my wife access our Bitcoin? Can my kids inherit our Bitcoin? That's just one example.
Now, let's play that out for a second. The husband dies unexpectedly, and the wife inherits Bitcoin that she doesn't understand.
Whatever it is, as long as I can keep shopping at Nordstrom.
And the next bear market hits, and the price crashes 60%. A traditional wealth advisor whispers in her ear, move into real investments. And just like that, the $15 million Bitcoin position and its legacy are liquidated at the worst possible time. And that's the blind spot. Conviction dies with the holder.
In my experience, most Bitcoiners, they don't have a lot of Bitcoin friends. And their wife, for example, most of the time it's the guys in our experience. Their wife is happy it's working out so far, but hasn't taken the time to learn about it. Or in the case of minor kids, for example, if you have your kids going to a guardian, they don't understand Bitcoin. They may liquidate Bitcoin on behalf of your kids. They're like, well, it's dropping in value a lot. I want these kids to be able to have this capital when they turn 18, and it's losing, money right now, and they may get rid of it too early. So educating them on what Bitcoin is also critical to take care of that, complete Bitcoin estate plan.
The heirs inherit the asset without conviction, and the wealth, it evaporates in one cycle. Moore calls this the education gap, but it doesn't stop there. Most wealthy Bitcoiners are using custody solutions that are designed for 50K positions, not 5 million.
That should do it.
Moore puts it bluntly. Self-custody is really a burden at the end of the day. It's a responsibility. And when you're dealing with 8-figure Bitcoin positions, the trade-offs shift dramatically. Security versus usability. Control versus inheritance planning. Privacy versus professional management. The normal strategies that work for stacking sats often fail when preserving or passing down generational wealth in Bitcoin. I want to pause here for a second, because if you're really thinking about long-term with Bitcoin, you need to be thinking about preserving that Bitcoin with more than just your wallet. Sat123.com is all about sovereign communication and power resilience. Whether you're off-grid, preparing for emergencies, or just setting up your family's digital security, they deliver. They've got rugged satellite phones that work anywhere on Earth, Faraday bags to protect your hardware from surveillance or electrical interference. In other words, Sat123.com helps you stay connected, protected, and prepared. And if you go to Sat123.com right now and you put the promo code in simply, you'll get 15% off your purchase. Focus on what matters: sovereignty, connection, and peace of mind. That's Sat123.com. So what's the solution? Moore lays out a 3-pillar framework for Bitcoin estate planning. 1. Legal title conveyance. A simple will doesn't cut it for Bitcoin. Without proper structures, your stack can get trapped in probate. And I wish I knew what that meant. It's a messy, public, and risky process. Trusts legally align your Bitcoin with your intentions, so your heirs inherit the Bitcoin smoothly and securely, not with, the hope of maybe they'll find the seed phrase. Fingers crossed. 2. Professional key management. Self-custody is powerful but dangerous at scale. A $5 million Bitcoin position can't rely on a cold wallet in your sock drawer. 3. Heir education. And this is probably the most important one. Even if your family gets the keys, do they understand Bitcoin? Without conviction, the first bear market wipes out generational wealth. Teaching your kids now in plain language before you're gone is the only way to prevent panic selling and ensure your vision of Bitcoin survives. Here's the problem. Most of these wealthy Bitcoiners only have one of these key pillars in place.
Because like you said, self-custody can be intimidating. And something, that we like to say at Strong Wealth is self-custody is really a burden at the end of the day. It's a responsibility. It's a opportunity that Bitcoin provides us to be able to take the responsibility of our own wealth. But with that responsibility becomes the burden of looking after it and keeping it secure, potentially across decades. So we really take our clients through this framework to talk through what are the trade-offs of every single custody structure. Because at the end of the day, every single choice you make has a trade-off. There's no perfect answer. Some custody companies, in my opinion, like to share their custody structure as the perfect solution for everybody. But in the conversations that we have, it's just simply not the case. So when you're deciding, what should I do, you have to balance security with, ease of use, for example, or the ability for your heirs to be able to take access to it.
And that's how conviction dies with the first generation. So why does this matter? Well, remember, Bitcoin's market cap is around $2 trillion today. But the addressable market cap for money is hundreds of trillions. So we're still early, like 1998 internet early. The wealth being built right now will define the outcomes of families for generations, but only if it's preserved with the same intentionality that it was accumulated with.
Unlike other technologies and things, we don't have to wait for that generation to die completely because people can dip a toe, right?
Yeah.
They can do a 1% allocation, even though it's like, they'll call it schmuck insurance. They'll be like, all right, these kids may be right. And this is what a lot of my investors do. These are, big family offices with many, many hundreds of millions of dollars. And they're like, okay, my son, my grandson, this, that, whatever. They keep talking about it. Now it's on CNBC. Now the SEC approved it. It's like, okay, you know what? Let's get a few $1 million worth of that stuff just in case my kid is right. That's how it starts.
Before we wrap up, I want to speak to you about another one of our sponsors, Sazmining.com. Sazmining.com is making it possible for everyday people to own Bitcoin mining without running loud, hot rigs in your garage. They host and manage your miners in energy-rich locations, but you collect the Bitcoin rewards. You keep the upside, and they handle the heavy lifting. It's the simplest way to participate in Bitcoin's energy-to-money revolution. Go to Sazmining.com and book a call with one of their expert team members and see how easy it is to start mining today. So here's the takeaway. Just HODLing is not a plan. And conviction is not enough. If you want your Bitcoin to outlive you, you need structures, custody, and education in place right now. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you see and you want to see more, make sure you hit that like button below, or you can subscribe to the Simply Bitcoin channel for more content like this. We're coming out with it every single day of the week. Also, do not forget to hit that notification bell for updates on videos that come out. I'm Oceans. This is Beyond Bitcoin. Stay healthy, stay happy, be safe, and make money. Until next time.